Hello, I'm Jane Dutton with a wrap of the week's news.
This is Eyewitness News.
Shocking images dominated the news this week. An arsonist caught on a webcam calmly forcing a driver out of his truck and then setting it alight. At least 21 trucks torched in just a few days in Limpopo, Mpumalanga and KZN. Police say they have identified 12 suspects.
But these other two KZN clearly are coordinated and organized kind of crime.
Police roadblocks will be set up along major transport routes countrywide to prevent any more truck attacks. There's been one burn victim from the truck fires on the N2 highway between Piet Retief and Ermelo. A woman who was sleeping in one of the truck cabins was left inside while the vehicles were torched. The National African Farmers Union says it's worried the attacks will hamper the transport of crops and cause long-term damage. This also happened in other news.
The Constitutional Court has dismissed an appeal bid from the Commissioner's Office, which former President Jacob Zuma had also himself applied to intervene in out of hand. The Apex Court says the bid has no reasonable prospects of success. What this means is that the SCA's ruling stands, and in terms of that ruling, Zuma must return to prison. When it comes to whether the time Zuma spent on medical parole should count towards his sentence, though, the SCA's left that up to the current Commissioner, Mokgoti Thobakgale, who's acting in the role at the moment to decide, and what he will decide remains to be seen. Bernadette Wicks, Eyewitness News.
As extreme weather hit the country and snow fell hard in many parts, including Johannesburg, Gauteng residents were facing a double whammy. Taps ran dry after a water shutdown, and residents faced stage 6 load shedding at the same time. Residents in Roodepoort, Randburg and Southdale are most in need of the alternative water supply. Joburg Water provided more than 200 water tanks and trucks to mitigate the shortage. Rand Water says although work has been completed at the Daleside booster pump station, there's still a lot of work to be done at its other 2 booster stations. But Zwartkoppies and Eikenhof are still being repaired. And once the work is completed, it'll still take 5 to 10 days for areas under those stations to receive normal supply. Joburg police are also providing security at the Soweto depot to ensure that water is delivered to communities there safely.
Hello, Ms. Semenya. How are you? Good morning.
A massive victory for Caster Semenya. She wins her testosterone discrimination case in the European Court of Human Rights. Semenya was banned from certain sporting events due to the naturally high levels of testosterone in her body.
European Human Rights Court has agreed with Caster Semenya on the basis that, yes, in fact, the Court of Arbitration for Sport did discriminate against her when it came to her appeal against World Athletics. What this means for Caster Semenya is that she can go back to the Court of Arbitration for Sport and appeal World Athletics' decision to ensure that she goes back to running once again. Of course, we know that in 2018, World Athletics said athletes that have differences in sexual development must take testosterone-suppressing drugs in order to run their preferred distance. For someone like Caster Semenya, she cannot currently compete in the 400 meters to a mile unless she takes those drugs. She has the option of running in the 1,500 meters, but that would require her not being on any hormones, and she personally has said that the hormones make her sick. So now she can go back in order to get her career to resume again. An appeal process just like this one has taken 2 to 3 years to come to some sort of conclusion, so that would be another 2 years added to the career of Caster Semenya, who's already 32, and some people might argue has already passed the peak of her powers, as other younger, faster women are currently running. Thalagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
Victims of the Zama gas leak asked the government to help repatriate bodies of their friends and loved ones. They say they do not have the money to bury their loved ones in their home countries. They tell us that at least 14 of the 17 people that died are either from Mozambique or Zimbabwe. Mozambican national January Chiwure lost 6 of her siblings.
Asinamale. Asazi ukuthi uzenza kanjani. Kodwa elabantu bengicela ukuthi basize labantu basincede sihamba emakhaya singqoshele emakhaya. Sihlele emathuna ethu emakhaya. Bengicela kanjalo kusiyami.
This is a tragedy that some will never get over. Patrick Mangai lost his entire family. He lives right next to the shack where Zamazamas in the Angelo informal settlement mistakenly released nitrogen oxide into the atmosphere. Mangai says he collapsed within seconds of inhaling the gas and later woke up, but his wife and 3 children never did. Finding the next public protector as the current one exists in October. 38 candidates are to be considered by Parliament to be the next one. An ad hoc committee has been considering applications and nominations for Busisiwe Mkhwebane's replacement. Among the valid nominations received by the committee is Mkhwebane's deputy, Koleka Galeka. Galeka has been the acting public protector for more than a year, while Mkhwebane faces an impeachment inquiry which is due to conclude this month. Parliament received 53 nominations that include a number of eminent jurists, including the Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo. This comes as she suffers another defeat. The Constitutional Court has not shared Mkhwebane's view that President Cyril Ramaphosa was conflicted when he suspended her. It overturned a finding of the Western Cape High Court that found her suspension to have been decided in haste and retaliatory in nature.
This court holds that there was a rational reason for the precautionary suspension of the public protector, which benefits her and her office, as it allows her to center her attention on her defense in the inquiry and safeguards the integrity of her office.
Charged with conspiring to kill this man, her colleague's husband, Justice Mudau. Convicted serial killer Rosemary Ndlovu also appeared in the Kempton Park Magistrates Court. She's on charges of conspiring to kill. The case was postponed last week due to Ndlovu's co-accused Mudau's ill health. Ndlovu is already serving 6 life terms at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Centre for orchestrating the murders of her family members and boyfriend for insurance claims. And that's where we leave the wrap of the week. Have a good weekend.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.